Hello students, let us discuss about LC oscillations. Here I have taken a circuit which includes a capacitor and an inductor, and the capacitor here shown is initially charged, and the initial charge is Q, capital Q. Now at t equals 0, if the switch is closed, then a current appears within the circuit. So when the switch is closed at any time t, we can draw the circuit diagram in this way, and at that instant the charge on the capacitor will be small q, which is a variable, and the current in the circuit is marked as I. Let us write Kirchhoff's equations for this. So the drops, potential drops across all the components, across the capacitor it is minus q by c, plus across the inductor it is L di by dt. Should be equal to 0. Now understand the variables used here. The small q is the charge on the capacitor at any time t, and I is the current in the circuit. What is the relation between I and q here? I here is not equal to dq by dt, but should make a note of it, it is minus dq by dt, because the charge on this plate of the capacitor, the I is the rate at which this charge is decreasing, because the current is taken away from the plate. It is a convention. I have chosen the current to be anti-clockwise sense for this loop. So I should write the equation as I equals minus dq by dt. So using this, if you replace this di by dt with that equation, so differentiating this again gives you minus q by c plus L di by dt will be minus d square q by dt square equals 0. You can rearrange this equation. We will get this is equal to minus, I can write it this way, into q. Check if this is correct or not. So I have written in this form only to compare it with the SHM equation. From SHM equations, you know that acceleration is equal to minus omega square x, where a is the double derivative of x. Similarly, our variable here is q and its double derivative is this. So it is comparable to the SHM equation. So which gives you the angular frequency of these oscillations. So omega will be 1 by root LC in this case. So we already know the equations for SHM. If you want to write the displacement equation, you can write it in this way: amplitude into a sinusoidal function, omega t plus phi I. Similarly, the solution for this equation is also in the same form. The q can be given by the displacement's maximum value is the amplitude, and the charge's maximum value is capital Q here. So it is q into sine omega t plus phi I, some initial value, initial phase. So for our case, let us reduce this equation even further. At t equals 0, we have the charge on the capacitor capital Q. It is the maximum value. So for t equals 0, this expression should give you capital Q. That implies phi I should be pi by 2 here. So at t equals 0, our initial phase for this equation will be pi by 2. So you can simplify this equation further and write it as q cos omega t. Omega t plus pi by 2 gives you. Sine of that is cos omega t. So this is the charge on the capacitor at any time t. So we got the equation for the charge on the capacitor as a function of time. Now let us find the current in the circuit. I is, according to our convention, I we have taken as minus dq by dt here. So the anti-clockwise current is minus dq by dt, and that will give you, if you differentiate this equation, you will get q omega sine omega t. So from these two equations, you can see that both are sinusoidal functions, they are oscillating, and here the q maximum value is capital Q, and the maximum value for current is q omega. We know the value of omega, so we can write it this way also, q by root L, because omega is 1 by root L. Now let us understand these equations in phasors. I am making use of a horizontal line as the reference here. So if you draw the phasor of this equation for the charge on the capacitor, it is cos omega t function. So at t equals 0, you will get the maximum value. So the phasor at t equals 0 will be like this. The phasor value is given on the y axis here. This is reference line. So all angles are measured with this reference line. So the initial phase for this is pi by 2. We have already seen that. And the length of the phasor is here capital Q, the maximum value. So this is our phasor for charge on the capacitor. Now let us draw the phasor for current. It is sin omega t function, so you will get it on x axis, but its amplitude is different because it is q omega. Its length is q omega. It is a different phasor, and it is the current phasor. So this will rotate about a circle like this. We will get another circle for current phasor. So this is how you represent the equations on the phasors. And you notice one point here, q, the small q, the charge on the capacitor, its function, it always leads the current by pi by 2. This is an important observation. Q leads I by pi by 2 in this case. So let us see how energy oscillates in an LC circuit. We got these equations for this scenario. At t equals 0, small q is capital Q. Initially the capacitor is charged completely at t equals 0. So for that scenario, you will get the equations like this for current and charge. Now making use of this, let us calculate the energy stored in capacitor and inductor at any given time t. So energy in capacitor is given by q square by 2c, where c is the capacitance. So substituting this, you will get q square by 2c cos square omega t. So this is how you write the expression for the energy stored in the capacitor. This is the maximum value for the energy. Similarly, for the inductor, you can write half Li square. So at any time t, half L into I square gives you q by root LC square sine square omega t. So this will give you q square by 2c sine square omega t. So, if you carefully look at these expressions, if you calculate the total energy of the components, the total energy, adding these two, you will get q square by 2c, or you can write it as half L I maximum square also, and I maximum here is q by L c, root L c. So, the total energy is a constant here, energy is conserved, it just oscillates between the capacitor and the inductor. So, energy oscillates between these two, but the total energy remains a constant whose value is q square by 2c, where q is the maximum charge on the capacitor. Or you can write the expression using maximum current also. So, it is half L I maximum square. So, we have a useful result here by comparing our equations with the SHM. So, comparing the LC oscillation equations with a general SHM equation, you can see acceleration is given by minus omega square x. Similarly, there also d square q by dt square is given by minus omega square q. The double derivative of q is given by this equation. Here the double derivative of position is the acceleration given by the similar equation, and here the omega is 1 by root L c. Comparing it with these equations, we have a clear idea about this. And the general solution for position, the displacement equation x is given by a sin omega t plus phi I, where phi I is initial phase. Similarly, you have the charge on the capacitor q sin omega t plus phi I. Here the amplitude is the maximum position you can have. Here capital Q is the maximum charge on the capacitor. And its derivative, the velocity is given by a omega cos omega t plus phi I. Similarly, the current, but the current for our convention, it is minus dq by dt. So, we will write minus of the derivative of this q omega cos omega t plus phi I. Now, by using sin square theta plus cos square theta equals 1, the identity, we can get one useful relation here. V by omega square plus x square here gives you a square, and from this we calculate the speed of the particle while performing SHM, and we know this equation omega into root over a square minus x square, where a is amplitude of the particle oscillation and x is the displacement of the particle at any given time. So, when you know the displacement, you can calculate the speed with this equation. Similarly, when you know the charge on the capacitor at any instant, you can directly calculate the current which is passing through the circuit. So, comparing the equations with this, I by omega square plus q square, it gives you capital Q square here. So, from this result, we can calculate the magnitude of current at any time t when you know the charge on the capacitor small q using this relation. 1 by root L C is the omega in this case, and capital Q is the amplitude and small q is the charge at any given time. Let us solve a problem now. Here in the circuit shown, charge on capacitor is 100 microcoulombs. So, the capacitor here is initially charged. You should understand that the switch is not yet closed. It must have been connected to a battery and it was charged, and the initial charge is 100 microcoulombs. If switch is closed at t equals 0, if it is closed, find the current in circuit when charge on capacitor reduces to 50 microcoulombs, and also find the maximum current in the circuit. So, what happens if the switch is closed? The charge, positive charge flows in this sense. So, a current is set up in the circuit, and we know the equations for this. We want to calculate the current when the charge on the capacitor reduces to 50 microcoulomb. So, initially at t equals 0, the charge was 100 microcoulomb. Now at some time t, the charge is reduced to 50 microcoulombs. So when you know the charge at a particular instant, you can calculate the current by using this equation, 1 by root LC. The derivative is omega into root over a square minus x square. So a here is the maximum charge, which is q, minus at any time t the charge is small q. So by making use of this relation, you can solve the problem. So the current is given by substitute for this. The inductance value is 6 millihenry. The capacitance is 5 microfarad. Capital Q is the initial charge, square minus, it is 50 into 10 power minus 6 square. Should get the answer for this problem to be 0.5 amps. Please check this. Now another part of the question, also find the maximum current in the circuit. How do you get the maximum value for the current? I is given by q omega, which is q by root LC. So we know the charge, initial charge, so just substitute for these values. By root LC is capacitance 5 into 10 power minus 6. Should get 1 by root 3 amps. Let's solve another problem now. In the circuit shown, E is 50 volts. We have a battery here. E is 50 volts and the resistance is 250 ohms. And the capacitance shown here is 0.5 microfarad. Switch S is closed for a long time and no voltage is measured across the capacitor. After the switch is opened, the voltage across the capacitor reaches a maximum value of 150 volts. What is the inductance L? Now, first the switch was closed for a long time. So what happens if the switch was closed for a long time? After a long time, the inductor is short circuited and the entire current flows through this. So after a long time, you will find a current circulating in this loop and the capacitor will have no drop as well, because they are both connected to same points. They both are in parallel. So the drop on the inductor will be 0 because the current will be a constant. The drop is given by L di by dt. So after a long time, when the current becomes constant, di by dt will be 0. So there will be no drop across the inductor. So no drop across the capacitor as well. And the current value is given by, there is only one resistor here, it is given by E by R. So that is E is 50 ohms by resistance is 250. So you will get 0.2 amps. So initially this value of current is set up in this circuit, in this loop. Now the switch is open. So what happens if this switch is open? This circuit becomes open and this circuit becomes live. Whatever the current that is flowing through this inductor, it has some energy associated with the inductor. There is some stored energy, half Li square here. Now what happens if you open this switch? This current will try to charge this capacitor. So the energy from the inductor is transferred to capacitor and then again it is transferred to inductor and our LC oscillation occurs. So at t equals 0, let us say now at t equals 0, the switch is open. So, initially the inductor is carrying the maximum current, which is given by this value. So, our I max is 0.2 amperes. Now, the idea is the voltage across the capacitor reaches a maximum value of 150 volts. Now, after some time, when the energy is transferred to the capacitor, it will store some charge, and at that instant the potential drop across the capacitor is measured to be 150 volts. So, that means when the entire energy of the inductor is transferred to the capacitor at a particular point of the time in the cycle, at that instant the voltage measured across the capacitor is 150 volts. So, the Q maximum on the capacitor can be given by CV. So, it is C into the V maximum. So, the maximum charge can also be calculated. Now, we need to calculate the inductance. We can use energy conservation here. Whatever the initial energy stored in inductor is, that is half L I maximum square. Now, that is equal to the energy stored in the capacitor after a point of time when the inductor's energy is 0. When the entire energy is transferred to the capacitor, it can be given by Q square by 2C, where Q is C into V maximum. So, using these equations you can calculate the inductor. We know the value of Im here 0.2 amps, and Q is, you can substitute CVm here. So, CVm square by 2C. So, this will give you half CVm square, where you know the value for Vm also, you know the value of capacitance also. We can substitute and we can find the inductance value here.